It's a very good afternoon. You're watching ZTN News Blitz. Let's take a look at our top stories. School heads take classes as some teachers stay home. In politics, Chamisa distances himself from youths camped at Harvest House. Fake mayor arrested in Durban. And in sports, Leon speaks on Kadewera's slow start. Final year pupils in Zimbabwe returned to class today, but this was not so with many teachers at schools. School heads and their deputies stepped in for lessons where teachers were absent. For instance, all pupils at Borrowdale Primary School in Harare turned up only to find just 3 teachers. School head Norman Chiseko Chevana spoke to ZTN after taking a class.
We have started very well this morning. By 7:30, all our 80 students had turned up, and I'm sure we are going to have a good start. However, the challenge I have is presence of teachers. The deputy head and the DRC are the only ones in the school right now, and myself. The rest have not turned up. I'm still expecting them. Probably they're having challenges of transport. I don't know. Nobody has communicated as of now.
Teachers' unions insist their members will only report for duty when their concerns, which include a salary increment, have been addressed.
I'm saying the few teachers that are available in our schools are those in administration and the headmaster. The rest of them are incapacitated. They can't even come because they don't have that space. Teachers are saying wherever they are not happy with what's going on.
The Zimbabwe Teachers Association Chief Executive Dr. Sfiso Ndlovu weighed in.
I can confirm that the educators have been very reluctant and unwilling to assume duty, primarily for the reasons that they've identified. And one of the reasons that they identified was that there was inadequate preparation, that their safety and health was not guaranteed. That was one. And secondly, they did not have the issue of salaries addressed, because that was going to be a major issue in their commuting to and from school. That forms the basis of our apprehension as to a smooth opening of schools.
But parents are worried pupils remain vulnerable to a possible second wave of COVID-19.
In as much as we have tried our best to kudzidzisa vana, I would like to believe vana vangambozviteedzera zvose, but yatongowewo responsibility yemateachers nemukuru wechikoro kuti vaedzewo nepavanogonerawo sezvo vana takutovasiya mukastodi yavo. Kukanzi kwaita outbreak panenge pakatoipa nhamba zhinji chaiyo yevana vanokwanisa kutokuwara.
Nayo kupfeka mask haitori serious, ndokuti ndasvika panapa ndatosvika kuti umwe ungasina mamask. Ndopata zonzvina ari padhoo tipfeke mamask. Yeah.
Moving on to politics, 9 suspected MDC youth members were arrested at the opposition party's Harvest House headquarters this morning. This comes after some of the youths locked themselves in the building to force their feuding leaders to discuss their differences. A faction of the party led by Thokozani Kupe has been using the premises after the Supreme Court ruled that she was the legitimate leader of the party. Charlton Wende, Secretary General of the Chamisa faction, distanced their party from the latest development.
I think Zimbabweans are now familiar with Mr. Monzora. He's a serial liar. The person that has issued a statement in front of Harvest House is one Kore Kore, a person from Monzora's group. He is the one who is leading the operation there. He is the chairperson of the Harare province and for the 2014 structures. So I don't understand why Monzora always sees the MDC alliance in everything. This has nothing to do with the MDC alliance.
But Douglas Monzora, Secretary General of the Kupe faction, accuses Chamisa of sponsoring the youth.
Those are Chamisa people who have invaded Harvest House. They are inside. They involve Chidziwa, Happy Mo Chidziwa, Bondo, and then for the Gazore. those are obviously Chamisa's people. They know that there is a court order against them coming there. So they are in contempt of court.
Privately owned commuter omnibuses are back in Zimbabwe's urban centers, but are commuters elated? ZTN's Kimberly Giro gives us more.
Private commuter omnibuses in Zimbabwe have been given the green light to resume operations, but they have to register with the Transport Ministry first. After almost half a year of dealing with transport shortages, commuters are hoping that the return of combis, as the commuter omnibuses are popularly known, will ease their plight. The return of combis breaks the 6-month monopoly that was enjoyed by the public transport utility, ZUPCO, which had been facing challenges in meeting the transport demand from urban travelers. We spoke to some of the commuters in Harare, and this is what they had to say.
Siyafuna amakhombi kawe ukuthi lezikhathi eziningi thina sichayisa ntambama sokusebusuku. Siyaswela amabhasi afika amabhasi egcwele emgwaqweni amabhasi egcwele abantu. Saka segcwele abantu njalo. Saka sesiyakuma kuze kuchawo 8 o'clock sisemabhasini ama-terminals.
Makombi ngaadzoke asi vakomana ngavasatitora fanira tumanikidzira pakadoma nekuovhachaja mapuraisi avo. Transport izvozvi mazana iri kunetsa. Tinomira kiu yakareba pamazupo.
Transport kufamba kwangu akutinetsa tantakuhaika tumota twematsotsi makesizi ekubirwa kwevanhu anga arise akawanda, so public transport is very important kwatiri, but dambudziko rine vakomana vemakombi vakadzokawo manyemwa wakawandisa kuuraya vanhu, kutyora mutemo kwacho kwakanyanya.
Makombi ngaadzoka, but kana adzoka ngavachinge vachipractiza ma-regulations e-COVID-19. Kombi yoregedza kuzara, then vodrive avo zvakanaka, voregedza kumhanyisa motikari, voregedza kuharasawo vamwe maother motorists vanodrivewo ma-road users nemamwe mapedestrians vari kuzvifambira, because tine macases before COVID-19 tine vanhu vatainzwa vaitsikwa nemakombi vachimhanyiswa nemapurisa nekuda kwekuti vari kutakurira vanhu nzvimbo dzisingabvumidzwe kutakurirwa.
Passengers Association of Zimbabwe President Tafadzwa Goriati called for discipline on the road.
isati chati kwavaita kwekudhara nezvino zvavafanga ngavafunda kuti hurumende ine simba inogona kuvapana at any time. Isi tiri kuda transport yakarongeka.
Investigation into the deaths of more than 20 elephants at Wangen National Park recently points to a disease called hemorrhagic septicemia. This was revealed by Zimpark's Director General Fulton Mangwanya while giving oral evidence in Parliament this morning.
This is caused by infection with Pasteurella multocida type B or E. The disease does not appear to have been previously recorded as causing mortality in Africa savanna elephant. However, it has been reported to kill Asian elephants in India. It has also affected cattle, pigs and chicken in Southern Africa, in which species it can cause massive mortality. It has also been recognized in buffalo and some other wildlife species in this part of the world. It is also known to have killed over 200,000 tiger antelope in Kazakhstan in 2015.
A 28-year-old man from Durban, South Africa, is in court for impersonating the mayor. He had attempted to extort a woman with the promise to give her a tender. The man was taken to the Durban Central Police Station for processing and charged with extortion. We move now to sports. The NBA final is confirmed with Miami Heat taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. It's the first ever NBA finals to be played in a bubble. Game 1 of the best-of-7 series starts on Wednesday. Three-time NBA champions Miami Heat reached the finals for the first time since 2014 after beating Boston Celtics 125-113 today. Bam Adebayo top scored for the Heat with a career-high 32 points as his team clinched the Eastern Conference with a 4-2 series victory. Lyon coach Rudy Garcia believes Warriors striker Tino Kadewere's slow start to life at the club is due to his brother's death. Tino came back to Zimbabwe for the funeral and then rejoined his teammates when the 2020-21 League One had already started. Here is Kadewere speaking on his late brother's influence on his career.
I have 3 brothers, but I was more closer to him than the other brothers. The first football boot I wore as a young player, it was from him. He was the one that gave me the football boot. When I was still in Sweden, like all the time I come home for holidays, I always had my training programs with him during the holidays. In the family affairs, I was always close to him. I was always doing everything with him, and he is the one I communicated more with.
Israel Adesanya's profile has gone to another level after his second-round demolition of Paulo Costa on Sunday. The win broke most records and prompted UFC boss Dana White to label Adesanya the next big superstar of the sport. Last week, he became the first MMA fighter in the world to sign a deal with sporting apparel giant Puma. He is also one of 2 fighters on the cover of EA Sports' UFC game. And that's it from us at ZTN News Blitz. Thanks for watching.